Welcome to You Can Do It. Today we're working on the Makita 18v angle grinder. This one is a BGA 452, but they're all the same. They've all got the same heads on them. So basically, it's an 18v angle grinder. Brilliant tool. Had a lot of hard work. It's done a lot of hard work. Now what we're going to talk about today is just doing a service on this. Now this is a common problem with these, that the little button on here comes off. So you can actually run it without that. Sometimes it locks before it starts, so you have to turn it upside down to start. Anyway, we're going to sort that out today. We're going to check the brushes out, and we're going to go into the gearbox head here, check that that's all okay, and see if the bearings need replacing on that. Because as it's battery, if there's any noise or play in the bearings, that'll absorb a lot of power and things like that. So let's get straight to servicing this. So what do we need? We just need something here to undo the disc, a flat screwdriver, a set of circlip pliers, a little puller, and a little ball bearing or something. You'll see what that's for in a minute, and a Phillips screwdriver. So let's get cracking. So first things first, we're gonna spin this over, and we're gonna take the head off here, this off, and this off. So first of all, let's undo that. So that's off. We can take this one off. Right, now what you do is undo that. Right, that comes off. Right, so now we've got the head here, and these are four screws here, so I'm just going to undo those four there. Right, those 4 screws are out. We're left with there. Now this can actually come off. There's a little rubber seal in there, so it doesn't just come out easy. So I'm going to pull that out now. I need both hands. There's a little notch there which you can put a screwdriver in there, look. And just do that and then twist it off, look. So let's do that, and that comes off. So let me pull that out. That's out now. So that's your drive. If you look under here, right, you can see that. So if all these teeth are messed up, you need to get a new total new machine. But these are all fine. Look, that's good. But as you can see, that was the grease that they put in when they built it, but it's not doing anything at all. So what we need to do now is re-grease up this and this. Now this gives us access to the back of that pin there, look, which actually just comes out, look, like that. So what I'm going to do now is I've actually got some new parts for that, which I'll go and get, and I'll be back in a second. These are the original Makita parts that I ordered for that. That's the part number there. Compression spring on top. All right, so I'm going to take those out of there, and we should be able to push that back in there and clip it on the end there. So let me try and do that. Okay, so I've pushed that on there. So what you have to do is just support that little pin from underneath, and then put that on with a spring, and then tap it on, which I've done that. So that's back working again. So what we're going to do now, so that's good to go. So now what we're going to do is have a look at this here. So you've got 2 bearings. You've got one on this side and a bigger one on the other side there, right? So this little bearing can go, in which case it'll make a right racket. Now it's been running quite, it's supposedly sort of semi-sealed bearing there. It doesn't feel too bad, but we'll take it off as if there's a problem here, and just do a full checkup. Okay, so what you need to take that off is a little puller or some way. So I've got a little puller there, okay, just to nip around the back of that bearing. Now the reason I've got a little tiny ball bearing here, which I mentioned, that ball bearing should just sit on there. It could be a little nut or something. That's just ball bearing to sit on there, so that when that pushes against it, it'll pull the bearing off. So I need 2 hands to do that. So let me just do that, and I'll pull that bearing off. There, look, that just shows it in action. Look, she's coming off now. I'll just pull that off. So there's they're well worth getting hold of a little puller like this, because you always need it for when you're fixing these little tools. So that's just the bearing there. So I can measure that up if I want to order a new one. I'll probably order a new one anyway, just in case. But that feels quite good, that one anyway. So now we're here. So what we've got there's like a washer, circlip on that. So I'm just going to use my pliers here, and I'll take that circlip off. We'll see what we're left with. All right, taking the circlip off there. Put that back down in there. All right, so then if we look at this here now, take the washer off, and then you'll find that this little drive wheel here, look, this little drive wheel here, look, comes off like that. And there's a little key there, which sits in the, there's a groove there and there's a little key. So if there's something wrong with this, you can buy a replacement one of these off of Makita's for the spares or whatever. And there's your little key. Put that away. So now you're left with that. Now that's the main bearing, and there's a circlip in there, which you need to do before you can take that bearing out. So what I'll do is I will get some more circlip pliers to take that circlip off. Now this, yeah, just pushes through there, so you can gently tap that and tap that out. Right, that's out. So I just knocked that. I just used the handle of my screwdriver. Don't use something heavy on the like hard on the end of that, because you'll damage that surface, and that's where the bearing has to push on. So you need to be very gentle with that. But then that's the drive shaft. So I'll take that off, and then we're just left with that bearing there. I'll have to take that circlip out, and then I can drive the bearing out from this side. And then what I'll do is I'll probably order a new bearing and put that in there, because that's done a few miles. This is a nice new bearing, because that'll save on noise and wear, and also it'll use less power from the battery. And then we can start assembling that back up again. Of course, we put some grease on there. So let me go and do that, and I'll measure that up, and I'll order some bearings. Okay, this bearing's got it written on it. It's a 6201 DW, so I can order that. And this one, I've got no idea, so I'll have to measure up on it. So I've got my vernier calipers. So I'll take a measurement of the external diameter, internal diameter, and then the width. And then I'll go and find that on the internet. Oh, I've measured that. It's a 15 external, 6mm diameter hole in the middle, and 5mm wide. Checking that up on the internet, that's a 696Z. So I need to order a 6201 and a 696Z bearing. So I'll order those, but these aren't too bad, so I'm going to put them back with those two, and then when the new bearings arrive, I'll take this back out again and replace them. Okay, so I'll just show you how to replace that. First of all, I'm going to take this out. Use internal circlip pliers for those. These are external, so when you hold those together, look, they come apart. These, when you hold together, they come together. So that one's out there. So now what we can do is turn that over. Now you've got a little sort of floating washer here. Presumably that's just to stop dirt and grime going in there. So we need to be careful, but we need to then drive that bearing out. That came out of there fairly easy. I actually just used a socket and pushed against that in the vise till it came out far enough, and then actually sat that on the socket and pushed further. So that's come out. So I'm going to order a new one of those and a new one of those. Now I'm going to put this all back, because actually this bearing's all right, but if you imagine you need to replace the bearing, and you can put that back in there now, and we'll reassemble the whole thing. Reassembly, you take that washer, let's go in there, and you put your bearing back in there, right, and gently. Now if you want to, you've got another option, you can heat this up, put it in either hot water or get a blowtorch on it and heat it up slightly, and that bearing will just drop in there nicely. I'm going to actually push that in with a socket, so let me go away and do that. Bearings back in, new bearing and circlip. So then we can just gently put this here and drive that back through there. Make sure it gets across on that washer. There we are. And we can push that back down in there in the vise and push that through. So I'll go and do that now. That's pushed in there. I basically put a socket on this side onto this edge here, and like that, and then put it in the vise, and you just squeeze that in like that. So be very careful. If you try to, don't hit it in with a hammer, because you damage all these threads. Okay, so that's done. So now we can put that in the keyway, and then we can slide that baby back on, and we put that washer on top, and we put that circuit clip on. So let me go and do that. So that's all ready to go. And these holes, actually, there's only one way that can go on there. So you try and put it on like that, look, it goes. You try and put it on that way around, it won't fit. These holes, there's only one possible way that can fit back on there. So I'm just going to put some grease on there and there, and put that back in and screw that back up. And I'll put all the covers on. Then we can look at doing the bushes. Last but not least, we just need to push that bearing back on there. So I'm going to push that back on in the vise. That's on nicely. All back together again, all good. What we're going to do now is we'll check the brushes. So the brushes are under here. So basically we just get a little screwdriver. I'm going to put that in here, look. Just do this on both sides. I'm just going to show you one. Pull that little plug off there. So then you've got this little plastic cap here. Put your screwdriver in there. Alright. Undo that. That comes off. So now you got your brushes. Now to check your brushes. I don't know why I keep calling them bushes. Yeah, so that's popped up. Yeah, look. Yeah, that's fine. Plenty of meat left on it, and that's fine. So I'm just going to do the same on the other side, but that's how you check your brushes. Check that everything's all right there. It's not a big job. I mean, they're going on and about nowadays, brushless motors, but these were never a problem anyway. So then you put it back. Don't do this up too tight. Just put that back on there like that. Now, if those brushes have been significantly worn or whatever, you'd have had to replace them, but you can get them from Makita as well. Yeah, that's in there like that. And then just put your little plug. It's got a little tab there that it fits there. There we are. So just do that on that side. Same on the other side. And now she's all fully serviced. Put the battery back in it, and it should be good to go. So I hope this video's been helpful. If you like the channel, subscribe. Send me any comments. But yeah, these are really trusty. I mean, these will go forever and ever if you just look after them like that. Just give them occasional service. Make sure the grease is on there, like that. And it's well worth replacing that top button, because I've been using that for about 3 years without it. And now it's like going to be like luxury. So, you can do it. See you on the next video.